Hello everybody and welcome back to the Brickazoid's Den. With What If all wrapped up, I thought I would do a little episode ranking video. I told you there was going to be more What If content, and there is. So this is another part of that content, where we have a ranking of all 9 episodes, in my opinion, of What If. So I guess we'll just get right into it, honestly. There's not much to say. Starting off with number 9, I gotta go with What If Thor Were an Only Child. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, this wasn't a terrible episode. It was just fun, but there was also not too much that really happened compared to some of the other episodes. I mean, the whole show was like a lot of ups and downs, and I think originally this was kind of an up for me, but I also think that I couldn't really make a fair assumption because this came out on the same day that Star Wars Visions came out. So I was super happy and excited about Star Wars Visions that I think my opinion was a little bit skewed. I mean, this was a fun episode, but man, nothing really happened at all, and it was just kind of boring a little bit. After I rewatched it to make this video, I was a little bored. I was a little like, yeah, alright, I don't really want to watch this episode, but I guess we'll have to do it anyways. The Captain Marvel versus Party Thor fight was pretty cool, I'd say. And seeing Loki as a frost giant was pretty cool as well. But again, it was just kind of a fun episode, but not too much happened. There wasn't exactly like a villain. Though Party Thor was kind of a villain, not really though. If you depending on which side you were on, I guess. It was a lot about Jane Foster, who I don't know. Jane Foster's not my favorite character in the world at all. I think she'll be cool in the new Thor movie when she actually is Thor, like she does in the comics, but just Jane Foster, like from the regular Thor movies, not my favorite thing ever. So, overall, yeah, this episode was fun. I mean, the little definition was, it was fun because it was an entire party where Thor and Asgardians basically just took over Las Vegas and had a giant party. But, yeah. Not too much really to say about it after. And the title didn't even match up with what the episode actually was. It didn't really dive into what if Thor were an only child. It should have been like, what if Thor was throwing ragers all the time and landed on Earth to throw a party or something weird like that. It wasn't really what if he was an only child. I mean, they only really made some sort of connection with it whenever he talks to Loki, but they're like best friends, Loki, Frost Giant, Loki, and Thor. So, I don't know. It was whatever overall. I mean, Party Thor was cool in the finale, but other than that, not at all my favorite episode. Number 8 on the list here is What If Killmonger Rescued Tony Stark. Another episode I was not too fond of when it came out. An episode that I was not too fond of when it came out. I actually enjoyed Thor Were an Only Child when it first came out, but after a rewatch I didn't enjoy it. But anyways, this one when it first came out, I was not a crazy fan of at all. It was just, I don't know. Killmonger is a really cool character. I think Michael B. Jordan is amazing at Killmonger, and I think an animated Killmonger is pretty cool to see. I just wasn't really invested in the story as much as some of the other stories here. It was just very, I don't know, it followed the villain, and I think that was almost like a risk, kind of, for the people at What If, was like, alright, if we do like an episode where we just follow the villain is the main character, how is that going to go over well? It didn't really seem to go too well. I don't think a lot of people really liked this episode just like I didn't. I thought the Tony Stark parts were cool. I loved the little quote where he goes, what if I made like a miniaturized arc reactor? And he's like, no, that's stupid. I would never do that. And of course, that's how he makes Iron Man, so yeah, that was fun, and I don't know, I feel like it kind of, like, it felt like 2 different stories to me. It felt like the Killmonger part where he's friends with Tony Stark and he's living in, like, the regular world, and then there was also the Wakanda part as well, where he's, you know, being friends with Wakanda and trying to get Wakanda on his side. It kind of felt like 2 different stories to me, that were just kind of mashed up into one, like, you know, like 2, like, 11-minute episodes, like something Adventure Time would do, and, I don't know, it just wasn't for me, really. The whole Liberator thing was cool. It was like, you know, a different version of like an Iron Man suit, basically. and those were cool, and Killmonger's entire plan was pretty messed up, honestly. Ulysses Claw was pretty cool. I thought the killing of T'Challa was, I don't know, I didn't really like that part much, because of course Chadwick Boseman passed away, so I wasn't too happy about seeing Black Panther, the character that he played, get killed. It just didn't really sit right with me. I wasn't very comfortable when I watched that moment, but I don't know, it was just kind of pretty bland for me. And again, I love Killmonger, I really do. Like, I thought Killmonger in Black Panther in live action was perfect. So just, keep Killmonger in live action. I think he does a lot better there. And I think Michael B. Jordan is able to really show who Killmonger is when he's in live action. Although this also wasn't a terrible depiction of Killmonger with Michael B. Jordan voicing him. Alright, the next one might be a bit of a surprise. I don't know. I don't really know the opinions on this episode by too many people. But the next one is, what if Captain Carter were the first Avenger? The series premiere, I was going to say season, but series premiere of the entire show, the Captain Carter episode. And, I think it introduced the show wonderfully, and it set up for what the show is actually going to be like. But compared to some of the other episodes, I think that this episode didn't really work. I mean, I enjoyed it. I did when I first watched it. I really enjoyed it. But I just thought it was meh. It was like good, It was like I'd watch it again. I enjoyed watching it again. I thought the fight scenes were really fun to see Captain Carter move so fluently in animation. And if they're gonna bring her to live action, I really hope that they can kind of keep that style of Captain Carter beating up the bad guys and beating up Hydra and everything. That was really cool. Another thing I'd like to mention is the tentacle creature at the end of the episode, I believe, was Shumagorath, and I didn't notice that until way later. Same thing with episode 4 of What If Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands. I think they also had Shumagorath in there. So doing a lot of stuff with Shumagorath, which is interesting. So maybe he'll show up in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, maybe even Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't know. A question to be answered to see later on. But anyways, yeah, I hope Captain Carter comes to live action, because this is kind of like the character that's like a pretty big selling point for What If, I think it's like when you think of What If, they want you to kind of see Captain Carter. They want you like, oh, who are the characters in What If? Captain Carter's got to be number one. And if I'm not mistaken, the creators of What If also said that Captain Carter might be returning every season, like they'll do a little Captain Carter episode every season, which would be pretty cool. I mean, I enjoyed the character, just the story wasn't as investing, or I wasn't as invested in this story as some of the other ones on this list here. So yeah, Captain Carter. What if Captain Carter were the first Avenger is number 7 for me. For number 6, we have What If Zombies. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, this was, I think I said this in my discussion video, but this was just a pretty plain episode. It was a very just straight story. Very, very simple overall, I would generally say. They had a goal, and they were trying to get to B. Sorry, I just crumpled something on my desk here. Sorry about that. They had, I'm trying to point. Anyways, they had a point A, and they're trying to get to point B, and that was basically it. There wasn't too many, stops or anything crazy that really happened. I'm always a fan of the stories where there's a bunch of characters, and they just kind of slowly die off one by one. I enjoy those types of stories. I don't actually know why, to be honest with you. I guess murder mystery stories, but this isn't murder mystery. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I enjoy. It was some cool fights with, for example, the oh my god, I keep blanking. Zombie Falcon and Zombie Hawkeye versus, who was it? Sharon Carter, Happy Hogan, Okoye, and Bucky Barnes. Those are very cool to see. I enjoyed Peter Parker in that episode, or Spider-Man. He made a little, how to survive the apocalypse little video like he does in the Spider-Man movies whenever he's with Tony Stark or something like that. That was a really cool little sequence. And all the characters that they chose as survivors made a lot of sense. And there's probably going to be a part 2 to that story, I think. I mean, it kind of ended off on somewhat of a cliffhanger, somewhat. And there was only a few characters who survived, really. I mean, it was only really Spider-Man who survived with the Cloak of Levitation. Actually, no, he didn't even have... Yeah. So it was Spider-Man who survived, T'Challa, who was injured. He doesn't have a leg. He only has one leg. And then Scott Lang, who only has a head, and then the Cloak of Levitation. And they were all just flying on the Wakandan Dragon Flyer to get to Wakanda to hopefully stop the zombie invasion. And then, of course, the last little scene in the episode was Zombie Thanos with all the Infinity Stones. So, I mean, there's definitely more that they could do with the story, and I think they're probably going to pick it up in Season 2. I definitely think they will, because they got to finish off the story. I got to know what happens with the zombies. But again, I think this one was a little bit better than Captain Carter, just because we got to see all these different characters in these wacky, crazy zombie forms. You know, Zombie Wanda Maximoff, Zombie Iron Man, Zombie Captain America, Doctor Strange, Wong, of course. So that was really, and Zombie Thanos as well. So that all was really, really cool. But I would say number 6, What If Zombies. Number 5 for me was What If Earth Lost Its Mightiest Heroes, the murder mystery episode. I believe this was episode 3 of season 1. Yeah, I don't know. I was not too crazy about this one, but when I rewatched it, I think I enjoyed it more. I appreciated it a little bit more. I think a big thing that brings this episode way, way, way down was the fact that they didn't give you any clues to figure out who the actual murderer was until basically the end, when Black Widow said, it's all about hope or something like that. That's kind of like the best clue that we had, and that was, you know, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, maybe even less before the actual murderer was revealed. Other than that, there were 0 clues to tell us who the actual murderer was. It was pretty cool to see all the different ways that the Avengers were actually killed. That was kind of cool. I mean, some of them were gross, like Hulk exploding, that was kind of gross. But, you know, having, like, I don't know, Hank Pym, I guess. I was going to say Ant-Man, but he wasn't really Ant-Man. And he wasn't really Yellow Jacket. Well, he was kind of Yellow Jacket. I just call it Hank Pym. I like how Hank Pym, you know, shrunk down and then hit Hawkeye's fingers, and that's what killed Thor, you know. That was pretty cool to see. But overall, there was 0 clues for me to actually deduce the fact that Hank Pym was the actual murderer of all the Avengers. I mean, maybe they should have done maybe in the beginning they should have done like a funeral scene for Hope. You know what I mean? They could have done that. Well, that could have been too obvious. I don't know. But I think there were definitely things that they could have done to kind of feed the audience a little bit, give us some clues onto who it could be. Not who it is, not who it could be, but they didn't really do that, and that's what I think brought it down a couple steps for me. But it's still at number 5, which I think is pretty good. You know, it's still in the top 5. It made it in. And I like how it, you know, a lot of it was around Nick Fury. A lot of it focused on Nick Fury. I also like the role of this universe in the finale as well, having Apocalypse Black Widow kind of replace the Black Widow of this universe, because of course this universe's Black Widow was killed. So now the Apocalypse Black Widow kind of takes its place, which I did really enjoy. I really liked that. I really liked that idea, so that because Apocalypse Black Widow has nothing to return to, she'd be the only person who lives on her universe. So now she is able to help fight Loki, who kind of takes over after Thor's death. Tries to take over Earth, and now Earth's mightiest heroes have to try and stop him. Of course, Captain America's still alive. He never died. He was still frozen. And Captain Marvel is now like a full-fledged Avenger, an official Avenger, like a 2012 Avenger, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, overall, I'd say this is a pretty good number 5 spot. We'll move on to number 4. For number 4, we have What If T'Challa became Star-Lord? I don't know why I just said A, but this episode was wonderful. It was an absolute joy to hear Chadwick Boseman's voice again as T'Challa, and to see T'Challa in a different presentation of him being Star-Lord. That was even cooler. This episode, when I saw, you know, I watched the Captain Carter episode the first week. I was like, alright, yeah, whatever, that was fine. Then I watched episode 2, and I'm like, oh man, that was really, really good. That was super duper good. And I was really, really happy with this episode. I loved that the Collector was like the main villain. He was super cool with all of his gadgets and all of his weapons that he's collected over the years from all the fallen heroes and villains that he's able to take down. He now controls the Black Order because T'Challa was able to convince Thanos to not commit mass genocide of half the population on Earth. And that was just like, that was crazy. That like they just like revealed it so casually. And then while I'm sitting there like, what? How was he able to convince Thanos, of all people? And Thanos became a Ravager, too. Yondu was really great in this episode. It was great to see Yondu again, because of course Yondu also passed, or, well, not the actor, but Yondu himself, the character, had died in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I hated that. I love Yondu. He's like one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time. Nebula had a great redesign. I really loved her design. Maybe, hopefully we'll get that in maybe like Multiverse of Madness or something. I don't know. Along with a bunch of other Ravager characters, you know. They were really cool to see, all the old Ravagers. It's been a little while since we got a specific Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I think it was probably, was it 2016? 2015? I don't know. It's been a little while since the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but we have the Volume 3 in 2023, I think. I don't remember. I think it was 2023. Yeah, something like that. Anyways, that was really cool to see all the Ravagers again, have a little Guardians of the Galaxy story. And overall, I thought it was a really, really great episode with some great moments between Yondu and T'Challa. Seeing T'Challa go back to Wakanda at the end, and seeing like T'Challa's Ravager family kind of intermingle with the Wakandan family, you know, his biological family basically, was really, really great to see at the end as well. And overall, I hope that we get more stories relating to T'Challa, Star-Lord. That would be really great. Hopefully someday, if they just try and... I wouldn't want them to get a new voice actor, because that feels really disrespectful, but I don't know how they do it, but I want to see T'Challa, Star-Lord again someday. I really hope he comes back. We have made it to the top 3 on this list here. For number 3, we have the latest episode, which is What If the Watcher Broke His Oath? Now, I believe I said this in my little discussion video, or actually long discussion video, it was like 20 minutes, for What If the Watcher Broke His Oath episode, where I talked about that it was good, but I liked the Ultron, What If Ultron won a little bit better. So that kind of gives you a hint for one of the two there. Anyways, and yeah, so number 3 is the What If the Watcher Broke His Oath. This was it was a fun episode. It was a really nice season finale for the show. Seeing the Guardians of the Multiverse come together, along with, basically, it was just an entire fight scene. It was just like a giant fight scene, which was good, because Ultron, this was a beautiful and amazing use of Ultron, much better than Age of Ultron, I'd say. You know, this, I think, really showed Ultron's true power, and how scary he can be, and how capable he is with wielding the Infinity Stones, and able to just go absolutely crazy. The only thing I kind of wish from this episode was that maybe the Watcher kind of helped the fight, but I get, you know, he's still not really able to, but the episode's also called What If the Watcher Broke His Oath, so why can't he fight like he did in the episode What If Ultron won? You know, I don't know. But anyway, Supreme Doctor Strange was in this one. Love Supreme Doctor Strange. Really hope he returns for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That would be lovely. He's so cool. Yeah, all the characters overall, really. I mean, they had a nice little twist at the... Would you even call it? Yeah, I guess it was a twist, right? A nice little twist at the end where Killmonger ends up becoming like a big villain, or the big villain, kind of, because he decides to take Ultron's powers, and having Arnim Zola basically be within Vision or control Vision's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, overall, there was a lot that happened this episode. It moved pretty quickly, but it worked. Like, they did it right. So I really liked this episode, and I think it belongs at number 3. Yeah, I kind of spoiled number 2 in number 3, didn't I? Anyways, number 2 is What If Ultron won, which of course was like the penultimate kind of episode for What If. And this one was just so good. Seeing Ultron and all of his power with all the Infinity Stones, and you know, he's like Vision's body with Ultron's armor over it. It's just so cool. It's so cool. Having all the Ultron sentries and everything. And I think, like, I didn't really enjoy much of the Black Widow Hawkeye story that much, really. I wasn't too invested in that. But I think what really sold this episode for me was the beginning with Ultron. Like, the whole Ultron story where he's just taking down planets and just bombing them. You know what I mean? And like, he demolished Captain Marvel after she tried to stop him from destroying Xandar, I believe. That was just crazy. He basically became a nuke and just bombed the planet. And then it was so scary when the Watcher was kind of talking about the universe, and then Ultron is able to hear the Watcher speaking, and is able to see the Watcher looking at him, in this like in the glass of the universe, or the little crystal of the universe, and then Ultron breaks in, and it also kind of talks about, or goes along the lines of, the Watcher isn't supposed to actually be able to do anything. That's his oath. He cannot interfere, as he's just like sitting there as Hawkeye and Black Widow are really close to finding the Arnim Zola file, which is what they need to defeat Ultron. He can't do anything about it. He's like contemplating. He's like, maybe I gotta do it. Maybe I gotta interfere. But then he doesn't, and eventually they find it. So that was really good. Glad he didn't interfere. And then Ultron breaking in, and of course, another amazing part was Ultron versus the Watcher. That was such a cool fight. We finally got to see what the Watcher can do, see his power in action. It was amazing. It was such a cool fight. Them crashing through different universes and crashing into the Watcher's universe room and everything, in and out, in and out, and in and out, until the Watcher finally was basically defeated. And he went at the end of the episode to go get Supreme Doctor. I keep calling him Evil Doctor Strange. Supreme Doctor Strange's help, and then that segued us into the final episode. So, yeah, number 2 is definitely What If Ultron won. Alright, so this one's probably pretty obvious, to be honest with you guys. It's number 1 is definitely What If Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands. I think this was a given. I knew this from the start that this was going to be my favorite episode, my number 1 episode of all time. After watching that episode, I was just absolutely blown away. Supreme Doctor Strange is such an amazing character, such a cool looking character, along with like his story was crazy. The whole episode was just nuts and insane, and it was so cool to see, Doctor Strange slowly getting stronger and stronger and collecting all this different power, but he was also becoming more and more evil, until it basically led to his universe being completely engulfed and destroyed, and all the people around him disappeared. Then there was also super interesting that the Ancient One opened up a pocket universe, which I guess, that whole concept of the pocket universe was kind of opened up in that episode, and then they kind of used it in episode 3 to trap Killmonger and Arnim Zola / Vision. But, yeah, Ancient One opened up a pocket universe where there was like a good Doctor Strange, and my expectation was, good Doctor Strange is gonna, defeat evil or Supreme Doctor Strange, and then you're gonna call it a day. But no, he loses. The Cloak of Levitation is destroyed, and then good Doctor Strange is defeated by Supreme Doctor Strange or evil Doctor Strange at that point. And then Supreme Doctor Strange is, like I said, he's isolated, and his universe is gone now. He's just stuck in this little crystal area with nothing to do. He lost everything. He lost the thing that he was fighting for, and this thing that he was fighting for, what's her name? Christine, just led him down a path where he lost it all. And now he's just stuck in this universe, and he pleaded to the Watcher to help him get out of this so he can save his universe, and the Watcher declined. But eventually it seems like they made up, because of course they joined forces at the end of episode 8, and then also throughout episode 9 as well. So yeah, number 1 is definitely Doctor Strange. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? Alright, so that was pretty much it. That was my ranking for What If episodes. I think I still have a little bit more What If content to come out, and I also have a new series relating to What If that will also going to probably be starting up at some point in the future. I actually don't know when. Probably not for a little bit. I might take a couple weeks off of What If content. But there is going to be a new What If kind of related series that will be starting up for my channel. So if you enjoyed that video, do the common YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.